Hi guys, in today's video we'll be taking a look at how you can create multiple projects in your Visual Studio solutions. We'll look at how you can launch a specific one or how you can launch all of them in debug mode at the same time. So let's jump into Visual Studio and take a look. Before we begin, I just want to remind you that I'm doing a new C# video every day. So if you don't want to miss those, be sure to subscribe. So the first thing we'll do is create a new project. We'll add a console app .NET Framework C# as our first one. We will call the project multiple project test. And you'll see this is the first time we'll actually be looking at the difference between project name and solution name. Project name is essentially what you're calling your console app project, but solution name is the sort of parent object that sits above your project. So what we'll do is we'll call the solution multiple project test, but then we'll call the console app .console. So we've got our console project named up here, and we'll just take off that console at the end because that's the one that sits above, and we'll click create. So now you can see for the first time in this series that we now have a solution that has a different name to our project. So now let's look at how we could add another project. So we can right click, we can click add, and we can click new project. And we get the same dialog that we do if we create a new project from the home screen in Visual Studio. For this second project, we'll add a Windows Forms one. So we'll just search for Windows Forms and we'll find a Windows Forms app, .NET Framework, C#, and we'll click next. And now this one, you'll see here that we don't get the option to pick a solution name because we're adding it to an existing solution and we have to give it a name. So we'll call this one multiple project test .Windows Forms because it's our Windows Forms app. Just fix that there and we'll click create. So now we've got two projects in our solution. And you'll see actually one of them is kind of bold and one of them isn't. And that's because when I press run, we can only run one program at a time. And actually that was a console app. So let me just go into our program here. We'll add a system.console.readline to stop our app from closing. So if we then go and run, so you see, we've launched our console project and we'll just close that down now. And that's because this one is set as the startup project. So if you right click any project inside of a solution and you'll see you have this option for set as startup project. So if I get this one that's not bold, i.e. it's not the startup project, I can just click set as startup project. And if I click start now, I get the Windows Forms app. So that this is a way that you can have multiple programs or projects sit inside of a solution, because you may have a project that you're working on and there needs to be a console app for, you know, your more tech savvy kind of power user type users, and you need a Windows Forms app for everybody else. You can have both of those sit in the same project because they're essentially the same app but for two different use cases, and then you can kind of keep track of all of your code for that specific use case or that specific project all in one place. And equally, if you've got it on GitHub, it's just one central sort of code base for that particular problem that you're trying to solve. There is, however, a way that we can set Visual Studio to run multiple projects at the same time. So you don't necessarily need to have just the one startup project. You can actually right click on the solution and click properties. You can see here we've got startup project, and what you'll see is you've got the option for current selection. So you could select a project in the Solution Explorer and then start up that way. Have single startup project, which is essentially what we've just had there, where you can select any one of the projects to be a startup project, or you can have multiple startup projects where you can flag them as startup if you want in here. So let's set both of them to start. Press return. And now if we start our solution, you can see we get our console app and we get our Windows Forms app. And we can just close those down. So that's the basics of having multiple projects in a single solution in Visual Studio. Hi, I hope you found that video useful. If you have any comments or feedback, then please leave me a comment below. I'm currently doing new videos every single day, so if you'd like to be notified about those, then hit that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next one.